Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The other Scott.
Yeah, the other Scott. Okay. Mike. Yeah, the other white guy. Yeah, true.
The new Scott.
Mike, great speech, a lot of passion. What I saw was somebody who has a rich history. Learned a lot about where you were from, kind of what took you into the service and got you into singing. That was great. Love stories about, let's say motivation, backside motivation, some might say, with parents. Your speech needed a little bit more focus through the middle. Felt like it meandered a little bit. Don't know if that was notes or if that was how you were, had verbally worked on your presentation in advance. You had a lot written down. We talked in advance. I think that was great. I just think you might have gotten a little nervous. Like me, getting out in front of the podium is the other. I would say you were very engaging. Your eyes were I could see you moving around the room. Everybody saw that you were engaged. The song was great. You did go over. I also went over on my first icebreaker, watching the lights is important. But all in all, a great speech, and we all enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you much for that. We'll go right on. Thank you, Brad. He's already coming up front here, Johnny on the spot. Do our evaluation for Joanne's presentation.
Thank you. The one thing I see each week is that we raise the bar in this group, and if today's icebreakers and Joanne's speeches is no exception. The one thing I realized as I was preparing to be the evaluator for Joanne is I really don't know her as well as, because her attendance and her travel schedule doesn't allow her to be here as often as we would like. But each and every time she has spoken, it's been very impactful and very powerful. Today's was a little strange because of the very technical nature of the assignment. And, I even thought WC probably was workers' comp, but I didn't want to make any assumptions. I wanted to see if she would fill in those blanks. And she did an excellent job of letting us know who we were, what our role was, and why she was here. She was excellent at using notes and preparing much as I expect a presentation to such a committee would go. I thought her points were well organized and the discussion was thorough, and it put her company in the best light. One of the strengths of her presentation was the use of really the credentialing of the individuals, either in their former capacities or, for example, in the formation of the enhanced success risk group that she was presenting to as a state organization, and their expertise through a previous employer. So I thought that was excellent. In terms of answering the questions, which was a very important part of the assignment, I thought she did an excellent job. Possibly the area for this would be in any case, but I'm sure in a speech of this length, notes are very necessary, and just a little less use of them. But you were discreet in using it. Your enunciation was excellent. Your use of language was good. And overall, I just thought it was an excellent presentation.
Thank you. All right, Ann, coming right on up then. You give a presentation on Andy. You guys are just coming on the spot. Thank you so much.
Good job, Andy. I like the way you explained the meaning of icebreaker. That was very, very cute. I like that. It's very informative, actually. I think you did a good job on your opening. The audience was really into what you were talking about in your football career. I wish we would have had a little bit more details and what you did during your football years and how it was such a great passion for you. You spoke very clearly, and hard thing to make that decision, and would like to get up and be, oh yeah, great, it's time to go to work, and be real happy to, like Susie. They love what they're doing. And like many of us, we still are looking for that passion that we had. And I did the same thing for 37 years, and I wasn't always excited. 2 years in between there I was, but I still thought, there's got to be something in life that would make me happy to be excited about getting up. I think you did a great job on your opening and your closing. Your conclusion was very cute. I like the way you ended your speech. You did a good job in not using your notes. And as far as what you could have done differently, I think we were so intense in what you were talking about. I think we could have heard maybe a little bit more in what was going on in your life. A lot of people don't like to talk too much into details, but I realized that we still had a feeling of what you didn't like, but we still would have liked a little bit more. I think you did a great job, and I look forward to hearing your next speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ann.
Thank you.
All right. If we could get a timer report, please, on the evaluators.
Scott only did 1 minute and 10 seconds, you're short.
Okay.
And Brad, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and Ann, exactly 2 minutes. They both qualified.
Squeaked in.
Yes, thank you.
Well, thank you for that. If you would please cast your votes for the evaluators, and if you haven't already, also for the speeches and table topics, and pass those around to our vote counter, who is, I believe, Jill.
Yes.
All right.
Send your votes.
Send your votes down there.
I will count.
Oh, please, actually, I need to do that, didn't I? Thank you so much. No, I'm good. Okay, thank you. So evaluation for our meeting today, just to recap how things went. We started off right on time, and I thank you, Cliff, always ready to step in there and make sure everything's organized. He even has handouts ready for, as a secretary for our club, he's got the box well stocked with the information that we need. So as general evaluator, he can give me 2 forms to help in the general evaluation. Thank you for that. Made sure that name tags are out there, and stepped in for Julie, who wasn't able to be here today. So thank you for that and getting us off on the right footing. The roles were well explained by Randy as he went around through the room. The only thing I was gonna say is when we do have a mistake on something, let's just acknowledge that, correct it, but we don't have to go back as in the timer and redo the whole timing sequence, because that did take a lot of time. And for the most part, we know what it is, except for the one part with the advanced speech, just to clarify that. But we don't need to go back and redo all the timing probably again, just to keep things moving along. Scott, with the introductions, you started it off with a great introduction and history going into, Michael. So that got the whole introduction sequence going really well like that. The other introductions also coming through well and to the point. I just thought that was really well done with the bio and leading up to everything. So that's one of the things I hadn't always thought about that, but just for everyone to know in an introduction, when you're writing it up for your evaluator, when you're getting ready to give your speech and you type up your introduction, it should have a little bit of a biographical sketch of who you are and the objective for the speech and what you're going to be talking about. So feel free to do that. A lot of times I think we do a little bit too much as an introducer of what's written in the manual. We really don't care that much about the manual. Hit it in 10 seconds, but the emphasis more on the person who's coming up to speak. The introductions for table topics. Thank you, Debbie, for stepping up at last second. I mean, she just got here this morning. I said, I don't know if Randy got somebody to replace Todd, who wasn't able to make it today as table topics. She said she had a great idea, from the marathon, put it all together. Thank you for stepping right up and moving that through. That was great. Yes, thank you, Debbie, for stepping into that. And the transitions between them were very short and to the point. The introduction to it, just as a table topics person, that was maybe a little bit long. That should just be about 1 minute also. and that was probably closer to 3 minutes, but, because I was tiny. But you did great in between all the speeches through there, and it was a fascinating, the whole marathon thing just boggles my mind. Not just marathon, Ironman boggles my, marathons boggle me too. Lastly, on the evaluations themselves, I was wondering if, I didn't see the light, I was wondering if you're gonna make the time, Scott. Boy, that was great evaluation, but you gotta watch the light. Brad, where'd you go, Brad? Oh, there you are. Coming straight out front, that's great, because evaluators seldom do that, and it just added a new dimension to it. So I really appreciated that, good evaluation. Overall, excellent sandwich. What was that?
Talking about stepping up the bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm no Iron Man, okay?
And Ann, thank you so much for your evaluation of Andy. Also, loved your speech too. That was just great. But your sandwich of everything covered, I thought it was going to be an all rosy presentation, but you still got in some of the areas where you want some improvement about giving us more detail about you. Great overall speech, but I agree with you a little bit more about who are you. And that is basically what I have. I think we're pretty close to being on time, so I thank you.
This time, we'd like to ask Pat for the grammarian report.
All righty.
She got one?
I do have a little bit. Overall, I have to say everybody had excellent use of words today. Really good word choices. I'll just go in alphabetical order. Andy, overall loved your speech. I did pick up one sentence where you said aggravated of where versus with. I think with would have been a better word choice. And during your introduction, you did say he is joined Toastmasters. I think you could have dropped the is.
Yeah.
I will also say, from an evaluator perspective, maybe very cute is not always an appropriate